The plastic straw has become a symbol of the fight against plastic pollution, a small and familiar object that's easy to point to as a culprit. Campaigns to ban or replace straws have swept across the globe, sparking conversations in coffee shops, restaurants, and city councils alike. But the crisis is much bigger than any single item. Plastic pollution is a vast, complex problem that extends far beyond the straw, touching every corner of our planet and every aspect of our daily lives. Our reliance on plastic is woven into every aspect of modern life, shaping an era defined by convenience and disposability. From the packaging that wraps our food to the bags we carry home, plastic is everywhere, often used for just minutes, yet persisting for centuries. Since the 1950s, we've produced over 8 billion metric tons of plastic, much of it designed for single use, destined for landfills, rivers, and oceans. This staggering amount has transformed landscapes and waterways, leaving a legacy that will outlast generations. The real issue isn't just waste, but a system built on overproduction and throwaway culture. Our economic models encourage making more, using more, and discarding more, with little thought for the consequences. Images of wildlife entangled in plastic are just the visible tip of a much larger problem. These heartbreaking scenes remind us of the direct harm, but the true scale is even more insidious. Most plastic breaks down into micro-sized fragments, creating a toxic dust that infiltrates every ecosystem. Microplastics are now found in the deepest ocean trenches, the highest mountain peaks, and even in the air we breathe and the food we eat. The plastic we see is only a fraction of what's out there. The rest is hidden, polluting our world in ways we're only beginning to understand. Scientists are still uncovering the long-term effects on human health and the environment. Skipping a straw is a start, but the crisis demands more than individual action. It requires systemic change. Personal choices matter, but they must be matched by collective efforts and bold policy shifts. We must challenge the industries and policies that make plastic the default for everything from packaging to clothing. Only by rethinking the systems that drive plastic production can we hope to make a real difference. The real challenge is to redesign our relationship with plastic, holding producers accountable, and rethinking our entire approach to consumption. This means demanding transparency, supporting innovation, and pushing for alternatives that don't sacrifice the planet for convenience. The age of plastic convenience has come at a steep price, and now we must pay attention and act. Our choices, both big and small, will shape the legacy we leave behind. The solution isn't just cleanup, but transformation. We need to build systems that prioritize reuse, redesign products for longevity, and invest in sustainable alternatives. The future depends on it. The choices we make today will determine whether we continue down a path of pollution or create a cleaner, healthier world for generations to come. The most alarming aspect of plastic pollution is what we can't see: microplastics. These tiny particles are so small, they often go unnoticed, yet their impact is far-reaching and profound. As plastic breaks down, it forms fragments smaller than 5 millimeters, now found everywhere from mountain peaks to ocean trenches. No place on Earth is untouched, as these particles travel on wind, water, and even in the food we eat. Microplastics come from two sources: those intentionally made small, like microbeads in face scrubs and nurdles used in manufacturing, which can spill into the environment before products are even made, and those created when larger plastics fragment over time, breaking down under sunlight, waves, and weather into countless invisible pieces. Even washing synthetic clothes releases microfibers, tiny threads that flow from our washing machines into rivers and oceans, turning our homes into unexpected sources of pollution. Microplastics have entered our bodies. We breathe them in with every breath as they float through the air in cities and even in our homes. We eat them in seafood, as fish and shellfish mistake them for food, and in salt harvested from polluted waters, and even drink them in water. Whether from the tap or bottled, microplastics are now a part of our daily intake. Once inside, these particles can cause inflammation, disrupt cells, and carry toxic chemicals, posing health risks we're only beginning to understand. Scientists are racing to uncover the long-term effects on our organs and immune systems. Studies have found microplastics in human blood, lungs, and placentas, proving they cross biological barriers and reach the most protected parts of our bodies. even before birth. The invisible invasion of microplastics marks a new phase of pollution, with consequences for every living thing on the planet, from the tiniest plankton to humans at the top of the food chain. The problem is not just environmental, but deeply personal. It affects our health, our families, and our future. Our daily choices and the products we use are part of a global cycle of contamination, linking our actions to distant ecosystems and communities. The microplastic crisis is a wake-up call to rethink how we produce, use, and dispose of plastic. It challenges us to demand better solutions and support innovation for a cleaner future. The stakes are nothing less than our health and the planet's future. The choices we make today will shape the world for generations to come. Two industries are at the heart of the plastic crisis: packaging and fast fashion. Both have become deeply woven into our daily lives, shaping the way we shop, eat, and dress. Packaging alone accounts for nearly half of all plastic waste. Think of clamshells, shrink wrap, and bottles designed for convenience, used for just a few minutes, but persisting in our environment for centuries. Most packaging is difficult or impossible to recycle, so it ends up clogging landfills, polluting landscapes, or drifting into rivers and oceans. Meanwhile, fast fashion has transformed clothing into disposable plastic. Synthetic fibers like polyester and nylon now dominate the market, making up the majority of new garments. Cheap, trendy clothes are worn only a handful of times before being tossed aside, fueling mountains of textile waste that pile up in landfills and incinerators. Every wash releases countless microfibers into our waterways, contaminating marine life and eventually making their way into the food chain, affecting both animals and humans. The environmental cost is staggering. Fossil fuels, energy, and pollution are involved at every stage, from production to disposal. Our closets and kitchens have quietly become major sources of plastic pollution, overflowing with single-use items and synthetic fabrics. The cycle of convenience and disposability must be broken if we want to protect our planet for future generations. Rethinking how we package products and produce fashion is essential to solving the plastic crisis. And it starts with the choices we make every day. The evidence of plastic's reach is everywhere: oceans, air, and even our bodies. Millions of tons of plastic enter the sea each year, forming massive garbage patches and sinking to the ocean floor. Marine life is devastated. Animals ingest or become entangled in plastic, while microplastics enter the food web at its foundation. Plastic particles are now found in rain, air, and remote mountains, traveling the globe like dust. Inhaled microplastics lodge deep in our lungs. Studies have found them in human bloodstreams. The presence of plastic in our bodies raises urgent health questions. We are not just surrounded by plastic, we are absorbing it. The crisis is no longer distant, it's inside us. The time for action is now. The world is finally responding to the plastic crisis with global action. The United Nations is negotiating a treaty to address plastic's entire life cycle, from production to disposal. Countries are debating caps on virgin plastic, bans on single-use items, and new recycling standards. Policies like extended producer responsibility shift waste management costs to companies, pushing them to design better products. Reuse systems are gaining ground. Imagine takeout in returnable containers, not throwaway packaging. Building a circular economy means keeping materials in use, not just recycling, but reusing and redesigning. Innovation, investment, and new infrastructure are key to making the shift. The global response is complex, but the goal is clear. Turn off the plastic tap. Systemic change is possible and underway. For too long, consumers have shouldered the blame for plastic waste, while corporations profited. Now, the focus is shifting to corporate accountability, making companies responsible for their products from creation to disposal. Extended producer responsibility laws require companies to pay for collection and recycling, incentivizing better design and less waste. Activists and investors are pressuring brands to reduce plastic and increase transparency. Some companies have pledged to cut virgin plastic and make packaging recyclable, but progress is slow and voluntary promises often fall short. Legally mandated accountability is essential to level the playing field and drive real change. The era of feel-good initiatives is ending. Producers must bear the true cost of plastic. Only then can we hope to reverse the tide. Systemic change is vital, but individuals and communities are proving that a different way is possible. The zero-waste movement challenges the idea of trash, focusing on refusing, reducing, reusing, and composting. People shop in bulk, carry reusables, and support businesses that minimize packaging. Community initiatives like repair cafes and libraries of things extend product life and reduce waste. These pioneers show that modern life doesn't require mountains of trash and inspire demand for sustainable alternatives. Every small action helps untangle us from disposable plastic. Bioplastics, made from plants or designed to biodegrade, promise a greener future. But the reality is complicated. Many bioplastics are only compostable in industrial facilities, not in nature or home compost bins. Some are bio-based but not biodegradable, persisting like conventional plastics. Confusing labels and greenwashing mislead consumers, and most bioplastics still end up in landfills. The ideal bioplastic would use non-food sources and truly break down in the environment. Bioplastics are not a silver bullet, but with clear standards and infrastructure, they can be part of a circular solution. Responsible innovation is key. The plastic crisis is daunting, but hope is rising through global action and innovation. A global treaty could cap plastic production, while scientists develop new materials and entrepreneurs build reuse systems. Public awareness is shifting, demanding more from governments and companies. The conversation has moved from straws to systemic change. The path forward requires political will, investment, and a new mindset about consumption. There will be setbacks, but the direction is clear. The crisis has sparked creativity and collaboration worldwide. We're reimagining our relationship with plastic and the planet. The work is just beginning, but a future with less plastic is within reach. Together, we can make it real.